In the middle of the town
today?
of Pozzuoli,
Are you ready to
on the
create with
coast
CapCut?
just west of Naples.
Press next and enter
Three
an
marble
audio
columns
prompt
stand in
how
the
I
open
sound.
air. They are the
how are you
surviving
today?
uprights
Are you
of
ready
a
to
Roman
create with
market building,
CapCut?
raised
Press
around the
next and
2nd
enter
century
audio
after
prompt
Christ.
and see how I sound.
For a long time,
Hey,
people
how are you
assumed
today?
they
Are you
were
ready
the
to
remains
create
of a
with
temple.
CapCut?
What
Press
matters
next
about them
and
is
enter
not
an
the
audio
architecture.
prompt and see how I sound.
What matters is a
Hey,
band of
how
small
are you today?
holes
Are you
bored
ready
into
to
the
create
marble
with
roughly
CapCut?
7 meters above
Press
the ground.
next and enter an audio
Those holes
prompt
were
and see
drilled
how
by
I
marine
sound.
mollusks.
Hey,
With
how
a
are you
fodder,
today?
the
Are you ready to
stone
create with
borer, an
CapCut?
animal that lives only
Press
below
next
the
and
waterline.
enter an audio prompt
Which means
and see
that
how I
at
sound.
some point after
Hey,
those
how are you
columns were
today?
carved
Are you
and
ready
set
to create with
upright on dry
CapCut?
land,
Press
the
next
ground
and
and
enter an
stand
audio
on sank
prompt
far
and see
enough
how I
for
sound.
the sea to
Hey,
close over
how are
them
you
to a
today?
depth of
Are you ready
7
to create
meters.
with CapCut?
Held them there
Press
long
next
enough
and enter
for
an
a
audio
colony of
prompt and see
shellfish
how
to
I sound.
establish itself and
Hey,
eat
how are
into
you
solid
today?
marble,
Are you
and
ready
then
to create
lifted
with
them back into
CapCut?
the air again.
Press next and
Nobody
enter an
moved the
audio
columns.
prompt and see
The
how I
columns
sound.
never moved.
Hey,
The
how are
land
you today?
moved.
Are you
It
ready to
went
create
down
with
and then
CapCut?
it came back up.
Press
And
next
it did
and
it
enter an
inside
audio
the
prompt
span
and
of
see how I
recorded
sound.
human history.
Hey, how
in
are
a
you
place
today?
where people
Are you
were
ready
living
to
and
create with
trading the
CapCut?
entire time.
Press next and
When
enter an
Charles
audio
Lyell
prompt and
published
see how I
Principles of
sound.
Geology in
Hey,
1830,
how are you today?
the
Are
book
you
that
ready
more
to
or
create
less
with
founded
CapCut?
the modern discipline,
Press next and enter an
put an
audio
engraving of
prompt
those
and see how I
3
sound.
columns on the
Hey,
frontispiece.
how are you today?
Of everything
Are
on
you
earth,
ready
he
to
could have
create with
chosen to
CapCut?
represent the
Press
idea
next
that the
and enter
ground
an
beneath
audio
our
prompt
feet
and
is
see how
not
I
fixed.
sound.
He chose
Hey, how are
Pozzuoli.
you today? Are
And
you
the
ready
reason
to
he
create
could
with
is that
CapCut?
Pozzuoli sits
Press
almost
next and
exactly
enter
in
an
the
audio
center of
prompt
a
and see how I
volcano.
sound.
Not beside
Hey,
one.
how are you today?
Inside
Are
one.
you ready to create
The
with
town,
CapCut?
along with Piccoli,
Press next and enter an
Porto,
audio prompt
Monte
and see how I
Procida,
sound.
and the entire
Hey,
western
how are you
sprawl of
today? Are you
metropolitan
ready to
Naples
create with CapCut?
is built on the floor
Press
of an
next and
active
enter an
caldera
audio prompt
roughly
and see how
12 to
I
15
sound.
kilometers
Hey,
across.
how are you today?
Half of it
Are you ready to
submerged
create with
beneath the Gulf
CapCut?
of Pozzuoli.
Press next
Its name
and
is
enter an
Campi
audio
Flegrei,
prompt and see how I
the Flegrei
sound.
fields.
Hey,
the Greek
how are
word
you
for
today?
rain.
Are you ready
Around
to
half
create
a
with
million
CapCut?
people live inside the
Press
boundary
next
that
and enter an
Italian
audio
civil
prompt and see
protection
how I
has
sound.
drawn as the red
Hey,
zone.
how are you today?
Area that
Are
would
you
have
ready
to
to
be
create with
completely
CapCut?
evacuated before
Press
an
next
eruption.
and enter an audio prompt
Now,
and see
you
how
have
I
heard of
sound.
Yellowstone?
Hey, how are you
Everyone has
today?
heard of
Are you
Yellowstone.
ready to create with CapCut?
It has been the subject of more
Press next and enter
documentaries,
an audio
more
prompt and
magazine
see how I
covers, and
sound.
more apocalyptic
Hey, how are you
thumbnails than
today?
any
Are you
other
ready to create
geological
with
feature on the
CapCut?
planet.
Press
And
next
if you
and
asked
enter an audio
100
prompt
people
and
to
see
name the
how I
volcano
sound.
most likely
Hey,
to end
how are you today?
civilization,
Are you ready to
most of
create
them
with
would name
CapCut?
that one.
Press
So
next
I
and
want to
enter
be
an
careful
audio
and
prompt and
precise
see
here.
how I sound.
Because
Hey,
the
how
honest
are you today?
comparison
Are you
is
ready
more
to create with
interesting than the
CapCut?
exaggerated one.
Press next and enter an audio
Yellowstone is
prompt
the
and
larger
see how I
volcano.
sound.
That
Hey,
is not
how
in
are you
dispute.
today? Are you ready
Its
to
maximum
create with
credible
CapCut?
eruption is bigger
Press
than
next and enter
anything
an audio
Campi
prompt and see
Flegrei
how I
has ever
sound.
produced or
Hey,
could produce.
how are you today? Are you ready
If
to
both
create with
systems emptied
CapCut?
themselves completely,
Press next and enter an
Yellowstone
audio
would be the
prompt and
greater
see how I
catastrophe
sound.
by a wide
Hey,
margin.
how are you today?
But
Are
Yellowstone
you ready
is
to create
quiet.
with CapCut?
Its magma reservoir
next
is
and
understood
enter
to
audio
be
prompt
mostly
and see how I
crystal
sound.
mush.
Hey,
A
how
hot
are you
but
today?
largely
Are you ready to
solid
create with
slurry
CapCut?
only a modest
Press next
fraction
and enter
in
an
an
audio prompt
eruptible
and see
molten
how I
state.
sound.
In
Hey,
the United
how are you
States
today?
Geological
Are you ready to
Survey
create with
puts
CapCut?
the annual
Press
probability of a
next and enter an
caldera
audio
forming
prompt and see
eruption
how I
at
sound.
somewhere in the region
Hey, how are you
of 1
today?
in
Are you ready to create with
730,000.
CapCut? Press
It
next
is a
and enter an
magnificent
audio prompt
volcano.
and see how I sound.
As a near-term
Hey,
threat to
how are you
human
today?
life, it is
Are
very
you ready to
close
create
a
with
witty
CapCut?
invention.
Press next
Campi
and enter
Flegrei
audio
is
prompt
not
and see how I
quiet.
sound.
Campi
Hey,
Flegrei
how are you
has been
today? Are you
measurable,
ready to create with
instrumented,
CapCut?
escalating
Press
unrest
next
for
and
2
enter an
decades.
audio prompt
It
and
is
see how I
cracking the
sound.
walls of houses
Hey,
in
how are
Pozzuoli.
you today?
It is
Are you
venting
ready to create
thousands
with
of tons
CapCut?
of carbon dioxide
Press
a
next
day.
and enter an audio
It
prompt
has
and see
produced
how
the
I sound.
strongest earthquakes
Hey,
recorded
how are
there
you
in 40
today?
years.
Are you ready to create with
And
CapCut?
it is doing all of
Press
that
next
directly
and enter an
underneath
audio
one of the
prompt and
densest
see how I
urban
sound.
regions in Europe.
Hey, how are you
Yellowstone
today?
is the
Are you
bigger
ready to
volcano.
create with CapCut?
Campi Flegrei
Press
is the
next and
bigger
enter an
risk.
audio prompt
Those
and
are
see
two
how I
different
sound.
statements, and the
Hey,
difference
how are
between
you
them
today?
is the
Are you ready
entire
to create
subject
with
of this
CapCut?
video.
Press
Start
next
with
and
what
enter
the
an
place
audio
physically
prompt and
is.
see how I sound.
Because almost
Hey,
nobody
how are you
recognizes
today?
it
Are
as
you
a
ready to
volcano
create
when
with
they see
CapCut?
it. And
Press
that
next and enter
misrecognition
an
is
audio
itself
prompt and
part
see
of
how
the
I
danger.
sound.
There
Hey,
is no
how are you
cone.
today?
That
Are
is
you
the
ready to
first
create
thing.
with CapCut?
When people picture
Press
a
next and
volcano,
enter
they
an
picture
audio prompt and
Vesuvius.
see how I
But
sound. Classic symmetrical
Hey, how are
mountain
you today?
rising out of the
Are you
bay.
ready to create with
And
CapCut?
Vesuvius is
Press
right
next
there on
and
the
enter
other side of
audio
Naples,
prompts and
which
see how
makes
I
the
sound.
confusion worse.
Hey, how are you
Campi
today?
Flegrei
Are
has
you
no
ready to
summit.
create with CapCut?
It is a depression.
Press next
broad
and enter
shallow
audio
basin
prompt
ringed
and
by
see how
low
I sound.
hills.
Hey,
Inside that
how are you
basin
today?
dozens
Are
of
you ready to
smaller
create with
features.
CapCut?
Craters,
Press
cones,
next and enter
lakes
audio
that are
prompt
drowned
and see how I
craters,
sound.
steaming ground,
Hey,
hot
how are you
springs,
today?
and
Are you ready to
neighborhoods.
create with CapCut?
Lake Averno, which
Press
the Romans
next
took
and enter
for
an audio
entrance to
prompt
the
and see how
underworld
I
because
sound.
birds
Hey,
flying
how
over
are you
it were said
today?
to drop
Are you ready
dead
to
from
create with
fumes.
CapCut?
Is a
Press
volcanic
next and
crater.
enter an audio
The
prompt and
Ostroni
see how I
Nature
sound.
Reserve is a volcanic
Hey,
crater.
how are you today?
The
Are you ready to
Solfatara,
create
where
with
the
CapCut?
ground hisses and
Press
the air
next and
smells
enter
of
an audio
sulfur,
prompt
and
and see
Roman
how I
writers
sound.
described it
Hey,
as the
how are you
workshop of
today?
Vulcan.
Are you ready to
Is
create
a
with
volcanic
CapCut?
crater.
Press
and
next
it has
and
been
enter an audio
continuously
prompt and see
degassing
how
for
I
the
sound.
whole of recorded
Hey,
history.
how are you today?
The
Are
structure
you ready to
is a
create with
nested
CapCut?
one. Large
Press
calderas
next and
form
enter an
when a
audio
volcano
prompt and see how
erupts
I
so much
sound.
material so
Hey,
quickly
how are you today?
that the
Are
roof
you ready
of its
to create
magma
with
chamber
CapCut?
loses its
Press
support
next and enter an
collapses
audio prompt
inward,
and see how I
leaving a
sound.
depression far
Hey,
wider
how are
than
you
any
today?
single
Are
vent.
you ready to create
Campi
with
Flegrei
CapCut?
has done this at least
Press next
twice.
and enter an audio
The second
prompt and
collapse
see how I sound.
happened inside the first.
Hey, how are you today?
The older
Are you
and
ready to
larger
create
of
with
the two
CapCut?
events was the
Press
companion
next and enter an
Ignite,
audio prompt and see
and it
how I
happened
sound.
around 39
Hey,
to
how are
40,000
you today?
years ago.
Are you ready to create with
Estimates
CapCut?
of how much
Press
material
next and
it
enter an reduced
audio
very
prompt and see how
considerably
I
depending
sound.
on method.
Hey,
How
ranging
are you
across a
today?
wide
Are you
band
ready to
of
create
12
with
over
CapCut?
100 cubic
Press
kilometers
next and
of
enter
dense
an audio
rock
prompt
equivalent.
and see how I sound.
But there is no serious
how are you
argument
today?
about its
Are you ready to create
classification.
with CapCut?
It was a magnitude
Press
7
next and enter an
event,
audio
the largest
prompt and see how
volcanic
I
eruption
sound.
in the Mediterranean
How are
region
you today?
in
Are
the
you ready to
last
create with
200,000
CapCut?
years.
Press next
And
and
one of
enter
the
an audio
largest
prompt and
anywhere
see
in the
how I
last
sound.
100,000.
Hey, how are you
Ash
today?
from it
Are you
has
ready
been
to create with
identified
CapCut?
across an
Press
extraordinary
next and
area.
enter an audio prompt and see
Geologists
how I
refer to
sound.
the resulting
Hey,
layer as
how
the
are you today?
Y5
Are you ready to
tephra,
create with
and
CapCut?
it turns up in
Press
sediment
next and
cores
enter an
and
audio
cave
prompt
floors
and see
across
how I
the
sound.
Balkans,
Hey,
across
how are you
Eastern
today?
Europe,
Are you ready
and
to
out
create
into the
with
Russian
CapCut?
plain more than
Press
2,000
next and enter an
kilometers
audio
from the
prompt
vent.
and see how I
Along
sound.
with the ash,
Hey,
went
how
a
are you
large
today?
injection
Are
of
you ready to
sulfur
create
into
with
the
CapCut?
stratosphere.
Press
which
next and enter
produced
an
a
audio
period of
prompt and see
measurable
how I
global
sound.
cooling.
Hey,
There
how are
was
you
a long-running
today? Are you
argument
ready
in
to create with
archaeology
CapCut?
about what
Press
that meant
next
for
and
the
enter an
people
audio
living there at
prompt
the
and see
time.
how I sound.
The eruption
Hey,
falls
how are you
close
today?
in time
Are you
to
ready
the
to create with
disappearance of
CapCut?
Neanderthal
Press
populations
next
from
and enter an
Europe
audio prompt and
and to
see
the
how I
expansion
sound.
of anatomically
Hey,
modern
how are you
humans
today?
across
Are
the
you ready to
continent.
create with CapCut?
And for a while
Press
there was an
next and enter
attractive
an audio prompt and
hypothesis
see
that
how
the
I sound.
eruption was the
Hey,
trigger.
how are you today?
That
Are
hypothesis
you ready to
has
create with
weakened
CapCut?
considerably.
Press
The
next
dating
and enter an
overlaps,
audio
but
prompt
does
and see
not
how I
clearly show
sound.
cause.
Hey, how are you
Neanderthal
today? Are
populations
you ready to create
were
with
already in
CapCut?
decline in many
Press
regions
next and
before
enter an
it,
audio
and
prompt
some
and see
sites
how I
show
sound.
Neanderthal
Hey,
occupation
how are you
continuing
today?
afterward.
Are you ready to create with
It is
CapCut?
best treated as a
Press
real
next and enter an
open
audio
question
prompt and
rather
see
than
how
a
I
settled
sound.
fact.
Hey,
And
how are you
anyone who
today?
tells you
Are you
flatly
ready to
that
create
this
with
volcano
CapCut?
killed the
Press
Neanderthals
next
is
and
going
enter an
beyond
audio
the
prompt and
evidence.
see how I sound.
The second collapse
Hey,
came
how
around
are you today?
15,000
Are you
years
ready to
ago and
create with
produced the
CapCut?
Neapolitan yellow
Press next
tuff.
and enter an audio
Smaller
prompt
than
and
the
see how I
first,
sound.
still enormous,
Hey,
still
how are
a
you today?
magnitude
Are you
6
ready to
event,
create with CapCut?
and it is the one
Press
that
next and
created
enter
the
an audio
caldera
prompt and
outline
see
you
how
can
I
trace
sound.
on a map
Hey,
today.
how are you today?
It also
Are you ready
left
to create
behind the
with
rock
CapCut?
that gives it its
Press
name,
next and
a
enter an
soft
audio
yellow
prompt and see
volcanic
how I
tuff
sound.
that is easy
Hey,
to cut.
how are you today?
And
Are you
surprisingly
ready to create
strong
with
once
CapCut?
exposed to air.
Press next
Naples
and
is
enter an
quite
audio
literally
prompt and see
built
how
out
I
of it
sound.
and hollowed
Hey,
out of it.
how are you today?
The
Are you
city
ready
sits
to
above a
create with
labyrinth
CapCut?
of quarry voids,
Press next and enter an
cisterns,
audio prompt
aqueduct
and see how
channels,
I
and
sound.
wartime shelters
Hey,
carved
how are
into
you
the
today?
tuff
Are you ready to
over
create with
2,500
CapCut?
years.
Press next and enter an
The
audio
volcano
prompt and
supplied
see
the
how I
building
sound.
material for the
Hey,
city that
how are
now
you today?
sits
Are
on
you
top
ready
of
to
the
create with
volcano.
CapCut?
There is one more
Press next
feature of
and
this
enter an
caldera
audio prompt
that
and
is
see how
easy
I
to miss
sound.
on a map and
Hey,
matters a
how are
great
you
deal,
today? Are you ready
which
to
is
create
that a
with
substantial
CapCut?
portion of it
Press
is
next and
underwater.
enter an audio
The
prompt
Gulf
and
of
see how I sound.
Pozzuoli is not simply
Hey,
the
how are
sea
you
next
today?
to the
Are
volcano.
you ready to create
It is
with
part of the
CapCut?
volcano.
Press next
The
and enter an
submerged
audio
section of the
prompt and
same
see how I
collapsed
sound.
structure.
Hey,
And
how
the
are you
seafloor
today?
there
Are you
carries
ready
its
to
own
create with
vents,
CapCut?
its own gas seat,
Press
and
next
its own
and enter an
deformation.
audio prompt and see
That
how I
introduces a
sound.
complication.
Hey, how are you today?
When rising
Are you
magma
ready
meets
to create
water,
with CapCut?
whether groundwater or
Press
seawater,
next and enter an
the
audio
eruption
prompt and
style
see how I
changes.
sound.
The water flashes to
Hey, how are
steam,
you today? Are you
expanding
ready to create
enormously
with
and near
CapCut?
instantly.
Press
And
next
the
and
result
enter an
is a
audio prompt and see
phreatomagmatic
how I
eruption,
sound.
which is
Hey,
far
how
more
are you
explosive
today?
and
Are
far
you
more
ready to create with
fragmented
CapCut?
than the same volume
Press
of
next and
magma
enter an
erupting
audio
dry.
prompt and see how
It
I
produces
sound.
finer ash,
Hey, how are you
wider
today?
dispersal,
Are you
and
ready
more
to create
violent
with
surges.
CapCut?
A
Press
large
next and enter
proportion
an
of the
audio
smaller
prompt and see how I
eruptions in this
sound.
caldera's history
Hey,
have
how are you
been of
today?
exactly
Are you
this
ready to
type.
create with CapCut?
Because in a place this
Press next
saturated
and
with
enter an
water,
audio
it is
prompt and
difficult
see
for
how I
magma to
sound.
reach the surface
Hey,
without
how are you
encountering
today?
some.
Are you ready to create
It
with
also means a
CapCut?
vent could open
Press
offshore
next and enter an
in shallow
audio
water
prompt and see how I
close to a
sound.
densely built
Hey,
coastline.
how are you today?
And a
Are you ready
submarine
to
or a
create with
coastal
CapCut?
explosive event
Press next and
carries
enter
the
an audio
additional
prompt and
possibility
see
of
how I
displacing
sound.
water and
Hey,
generating
how
local
are you
waves.
today? Are you
This
ready
is
to
not
create
the
with CapCut?
transoceanic tsunami
Press next
scenario
and
we
enter
can
an audio
imagine.
prompt and
The
see how
Gulf
I
is
sound.
small and enclosed.
Hey, how are you today?
But for the
Are you ready
towns
to create
ringing
with
that
CapCut?
shoreline, a
Press
locally
next and
generated
enter an
wave
audio
arriving
prompt and
within
see how I
minutes
sound.
is a genuine
Hey,
element
how are
of
you
the
today?
hazard
Are
picture
you ready to create
and
with
is
CapCut?
treated as such in the
Press
planning.
next and enter an audio prompt
Since
and see
then, the
how I
system has
sound.
erupted
Hey,
repeatedly,
how are you today?
dozens of times,
Are you ready to
but
create
at a
with
vastly
CapCut?
smaller scale.
Press next and
Small
enter
vents
an audio
opening,
prompt and see
building
how
a
I
cone
sound.
or a crater,
Hey,
and going
how are you
quiet
today?
again.
Are you ready to create
The
with
most
CapCut?
recent of of those,
Press
the
next
only
and
one that
enter
happened
audio
in front of
prompt and see
witnesses
how
who
I
wrote it
sound.
down.
Hey,
Is the
how are you
single
today?
most
Are you ready to
instructive
create
event
with
in
CapCut?
this entire story.
Press next and enter an
In the
audio
years
prompt
leading
and
up
see
to
how I sound.
1538,
Hey,
people
how
around
are you today?
Bogoli
Are you
noticed
ready
that
to
the
create with
sea was
CapCut?
retreating.
Press next
Fishermen
and
found
enter
a
an
new
audio
beach
prompt
where
and
there
see how I
had been
sound.
water.
Hey,
Ground
how are
that
you
had
today?
been
Are you
submerged
ready to
came up
create with
dry, and the
CapCut?
coastline moved
Press
outward.
next and enter an
The
audio
land was
prompt and see
rising,
how I
and it
sound.
rose by something on
Hey,
the order
how
of
are you
several
today?
meters
Are you
over a
ready to
period
create
of
with
years.
CapCut?
And then,
Press
in the
next and
final
enter an
stretch,
audio
the rate
prompt and
increased
see
and
how I sound.
earthquakes became
Hey,
frequent
how
and
are
were
you
felt
today?
daily.
Are you ready to
On the
create with
29th of
CapCut?
September,
Press next
1538,
and enter an
the
audio
ground
prompt
opened
and see
between
how I sound.
Pozzuoli and Lake
Hey,
Averno.
how are you
The
today?
eruption
Are you
ran
ready
for
to
about
create
a
with
week.
CapCut?
Ash and
Press
pumice,
next and enter an
column
audio
of
prompt
debris,
and see how I
blocks
sound.
thrown out
Hey,
across the
how are you
surrounding
today?
land.
Are you ready
By
to
the
create
time it
with
stopped,
CapCut?
there was a brand new
Press
hill
next and
standing
enter
where
an
flat
audio
ground
prompt
had
and
been.
see how I sound.
It is about
Hey,
130
how are you
meters
today?
high.
Are you
and
ready
it is
to
still
create
there.
with CapCut?
They called it
Press next and enter an
Monte
audio
Nuovo,
prompt
the new
and see
mountain.
how I sound.
The village of
Hey,
Tripper
how are
Goal,
you today?
which had
Are you
stood
ready
on
to
that
create
spot
with
with its
CapCut?
baths and its
Press
houses,
next
was
and enter an
gone,
audio prompt
buried
and see how I
underneath it.
sound.
In
Hey, how are you
volcanological
today?
terms, this
Are you
was
ready
a
to
small
create with
eruption.
CapCut?
It does
Press
not
next
register
and
on
enter
the
an
same
audio
scale
prompt and
as the
see how I
caldera
sound.
forming events
Hey,
at all.
how are you today?
It killed
Are
a
you ready to
relatively
create with
modest
CapCut?
number of people.
Press next
largely
and enter an
because the
audio prompt
population
and
was
see how I
small.
sound.
The warning
Hey,
signs had
how are
run
you
for
today?
years,
Are
and
you
many
ready to
had
create
already
with
left.
CapCut?
And
Press
that
next
is
and enter
precisely
an
the
audio
point,
prompt and
so
see
I
how I
want to state
sound.
it as clearly
Hey,
as I can.
how are you today? Are you
The
ready to
realistic
create with
scenario at
CapCut?
Campi Flegrei
Press
is not
next and enter an
super-eruption.
audio prompt
If
and see
this
how I
system does
sound.
anything in our
Hey,
lifetimes,
how are you
the
today?
overwhelmingly
Are you ready
most
to create with
probable
CapCut?
outcome based
Press
on its
next
own
and enter
eruptive
an audio
history
prompt
over the
and see how I
last
sound.
15,000
Hey,
years.
how are you today?
Is another
Are you ready to
Monty
create
Mogul.
with CapCut?
A small vent opening
Press
somewhere
next and
inside
enter
the
an audio
caldera.
prompt and see how
A
I
modest
sound.
eruption
Hey,
lasting
how are you
days
today?
to weeks.
Are you ready to
New
create with
cone.
CapCut?
The reason
Press
that it's
next and
frightening
enter
has
an audio
nothing to
prompt
do
and
with the
see how I
size of
sound.
the eruption.
Hey, how
It
are you
has to
today?
do with what
Are
is
you ready to
standing on the
create with
ground now
CapCut?
that was not
Press
standing
next
there
and
in
enter an audio prompt
1538,
and see how I sound.
which brings us to
Hey,
the
how are you
mechanism that
today?
makes
Are
this
you ready to
place
create
unlike
with CapCut?
anywhere else on Earth.
Press next
And
and
the word
enter
you
an audio
need
prompt
in
and
order
see
to
how I
understand
sound.
the news coming
Hey,
out of
how are you
Naples.
today? Are you ready to create with CapCut?
From the Greek.
Press
meaning
next and
slow
enter an audio
earthquake.
prompt and see how I sound.
It is the term for exactly
Hey,
what
how are you
those
today?
Roman columns
Are you ready to
record.
create with CapCut?
A sustained vertical
Press
movement
next
of
and
the
enter an
caldera
audio
floor,
prompt and see how
up
I
and down
sound.
over years
Hey,
and
how are you
decades,
today? Are you
without
ready
the
to
ground
create with
tearing
CapCut?
itself apart.
Press next and enter
Campi
an audio
Flegrei
prompt
is
and
the
see how I
type
sound.
locality for this
Hey,
phenomenon.
how are you today?
It is where
Are
it
you
was
ready to
first
create with
described,
CapCut?
and it is
Press
where it is
next and enter
studied.
an audio prompt
The
and see
physical
how I
cause
sound.
is still genuinely
Hey, how are you
debated.
today? Are you
and
ready
I'm
to
not
create
going to
with
pretend
CapCut?
there is a
Press
consensus
next
where there
and
is
enter an
not.
audio prompt and see how
There
I
are two
sound.
main
Hey,
explanations.
how are you
and they
today?
not
Are you
mutually
ready to
exclusive.
create with CapCut?
The first
Press
is
next
magmatic.
and enter an audio
New
prompt
magma
and see how I
rises from
sound.
depth and
Hey,
accumulates
how are
in a
you today?
shallower
Are you
reservoir.
ready to create with
And the
CapCut?
increase in volume
Press
and
next
pressure
and enter an
pushes
audio
the
prompt
overlying
and see
rock
how I sound.
upward. The way
Hey,
inflating
how are you
something
today?
under a
Are you
carpet
ready to
lifts
create
the
with
carpet.
CapCut?
The
Press
second
next
is
and enter an audio
hydrothermal.
prompt and see how
The
I
caldera
sound.
hosts an
Hey, how
enormous
are you today?
geothermal
Are
system.
you ready to create with
Groundwater and
CapCut?
seawater
Press
circulating
next
through
and enter an
hot,
audio prompt and
fractured
see
rock.
how I sound.
Inject
Hey,
hot
how are you
magnetic
today?
gas
Are you ready to
and heat
create
into
with
that
CapCut?
system.
Press
And the
next
fluids
and enter an
expand
audio
and
prompt and
pressurize.
see how I sound.
And that pressure alone
Hey,
can lift
how are
the
you
surface
today? Are you
substantially
ready to
without
create
any
with
magma
CapCut?
moving into shallow
Press
levels
next
at
and
all.
enter an audio
The
prompt
distinction
and see how
matters
I sound.
enormously because
Hey,
one of
how
those
are you today?
scenarios has
Are
a
you ready to
plausible
create with
path to an
CapCut?
eruption.
Press
The
next
other
and enter an
largely
audio
does
prompt
not.
and see how I sound.
And separating
Hey,
them from
how are you
surface
today?
measurements
Are you ready
is
to
one of the
create with
hardest
CapCut?
problems in modern
Press next
volcanology.
and enter an audio
This is
prompt
a
and see
real
how I
and
sound.
important source of
Hey,
uncertainty.
how are you today? Are you
And
ready
it
to
is the
create with
reason the
CapCut?
scientists
Press
monitoring
next
this
and enter an
system
audio
speak far
prompt
more
and see how I
cautiously
sound.
than the headlines
Hey,
about it
how
do.
are you today? Are
The
you
modern
ready to create with
instrumental record
CapCut?
begins
Press
in
next
earnest
and
in
enter
the
an audio
20th
prompt
century.
and see how I
It
sound.
contains two major
Hey,
crises.
how are you today?
The first
Are you
ran
ready to
from
create
around
with CapCut?
1969
Press
to
next and enter an
1972
audio prompt and
and
see how I
lifted the
sound.
center of Pozzuoli
Hey, how are
by
you
something
today?
in the
Are you
region
ready to
of a
create with
meter and a
CapCut?
half.
Press
Second,
next and enter an
and by
audio
far the more
prompt and see
serious,
how I sound.
ran from
Hey, how are you
1982 to
today?
1984.
Are you ready to create with CapCut?
And lifted it by
Press
roughly
next
another
and enter an audio
1.8
prompt and
meters.
see how I sound.
That is
Hey,
not a
how are you
subtle
today? Are you
geodetic
ready to
signal
create with
detected by
CapCut?
satellite.
Press next
That is
and
the
enter an
harbor
audio
becoming
prompt
too
and see how
shallow
I
for
sound.
boats.
Hey,
That is
how are you
buildings
today?
cracking.
Are you ready to create
That
with
is
CapCut?
tens of thousands of
Press
earthquakes
next
over
and
a
enter an
2-year
audio
period,
prompt and see
many
how
of
I
them
sound.
felt, several
Hey,
strong
how are
enough
you
to cause
today?
damage.
Are you ready to create with
The
CapCut?
authorities evacuated the
Press
Rio
next and
Negro,
enter an audio
the ancient
prompt and see how
acropolis
I
of
sound.
Pozzuoli,
Hey,
the
how are
oldest
you
and highest
today?
part of
Are
the
you
town.
ready to create with
And in the
CapCut?
wider response,
Press
somewhere
next and
around
enter an audio
40,000
prompt and
people
see
were
how I
moved out
sound.
of the historic
Hey,
center
how
into
are you
new
today?
housing,
Are you ready to
built for
create
them
with
further
CapCut?
inland.
Press
The old
next and
town
enter an
empty.
audio prompt and
Much
see
of it
how
has
I
still not
sound.
been reoccupied.
Hey, how are you
If
today?
you walk
Are
through
you
parts
ready
of
to
Rio
create with
Negro today,
CapCut?
you are walking
Press
through a
next and
place
enter
that
an
was
audio
evacuated
prompt and
4
see how I
decades
sound.
ago and never really
Hey,
came
how
back.
are you today? Are you
Then,
ready to create with CapCut?
1984, it
Press
stopped.
next and enter an
The
audio
uplift
prompt and
halted,
see how I
reversed,
sound.
and the ground
Hey,
began
how are
slowly
you today?
subsiding
Are
again.
you ready to create with
There was
CapCut?
no eruption.
Press
Half the
next
city
and
was
enter an
disrupted.
audio prompt and
An
see how I
enormous
sound.
amount of money was
Hey,
spent.
how are you
The
today?
community was
Are you ready to
permanently
create with
displaced,
CapCut?
and the volcano
Press next
simply
and
went
enter an
back to
audio
sleep.
prompt and see how I sound.
Hold on to that,
Hey,
because it
how are
cuts
you
both
today?
ways.
Are you ready to create
And
with
it is the
CapCut?
hinge of this whole
Press
problem.
next and enter an audio
It is a
prompt
reason
and
for
see how I
calm
sound.
because it demonstrates
Hey, how
that
are you today?
severe
Are you
unrest
ready
at
to
this
create with
caldera
CapCut?
can and
Press
does end
next and
without
enter
an
an audio
eruption.
prompt and see how I
It
sound.
is also the reason the
Hey,
next
how are you
decision will be
today?
so
Are you
difficult
ready to create
because
with
everyone
CapCut?
involved remembers
Press
it.
next and enter an
Around
audio prompt and see how I
2005, the
sound.
ground started rising
Hey,
again.
how are you today?
Slowly
Are
at
you ready
first.
to create with
It did
CapCut?
not stop.
Press
That
next
uplift
and
has
enter
now
an
been
audio prompt
continuous
and
for
see how I
roughly
sound.
2 decades.
Hey, how are
And
you
unlike
today?
the earlier
Are you ready to
episodes,
create with CapCut?
it has not shown a clear
Press next
reversal.
and enter an audio
audio prompt and see how I sound. The center of Pozzuoli has recovered today. Places exceeded the ground. Hit launch. Press next and enter an audio prompt and see how I sound. In December of 2012, how are you today? Are you ready to create protection? Raise the alert level. Press next and enter an audio prompt and see how I sound. Hey, how are you today? Are you ready to create? It has remained there ever since. Press next and enter an audio prompt and see how I sound. The rate has not been steady. Are you ready to create? It has come in pulses. Press general pattern through the 2010s and into the 2020s. Hey, how are you today? Acceleration. Are you ready to create with the rate of uplift increasing and enter an audio seismicity increasing alongside it? Hey, how are you today? Are you ready to create with CapCut? The Solfatara crater enter an audio prompt and see how I sound. Fumarole field. Hey, how are you today? Are you ready to create with CapCut? The measured output of carbon dioxide and enter an audio prompt and thousands of sounds per day. Hey, how are you today? Are you ready to what a genuinely erupting volcano? Press next and enter an audio prompt and see how I sound. In particular has intensified markedly. Are you ready to create with CapCut? More vigorous emission. Press next and enter an boiling mud where there was previously quieter ground. How are you today? Gas is not a nuisance in this context. Gas next and enter an audio prompt and see how I sound. Its chemistry and its volume carry information about how much magmatic input is feeding the hydrothermal. Press next and enter an audio prompt. The trend has been toward a more magmatic signature. How are you today? Are you ready to create with CapCut? Press next. In May of 2024, and see how the caldera produced a magnitude. How are you today? Are you ready to create with CapCut? Strongest recorded there. Press next and enter an audio prompt and see how I sound. Followed through the months and into 2025. Are you ready to create with further shocks of broadly comparable size? Press next and enter an audio prompt and see how I sound. These are not large earthquakes in absolute terms. Are you ready to create with CapCut? But they are shallow. Press next. They're directly underneath the dense residential area. Hey,
much of the housing
today?
stock
Are you
above
ready to
them
create
was
with
not
CapCut?
built to modern
Press
seismic
next and
standards.
enter an audio prompt. and
Shallow,
see how I
moderate
sound.
earthquakes under
Hey,
old
how are
masonry
you
is a
today?
bad
Are you
combination,
ready to create
regardless
with
of what the
CapCut?
volcano does
Press
next.
and enter an
And
audio
there has
prompt
been
and see
real
how I sound.
structural damage and
Hey,
real
how are you
displacement
today?
of
Are you
families
ready
from
to create
unsafe
with
buildings.
CapCut? Press
In
next and enter an
2023,
audio
a
prompt and
paper
see
by
how I
Christopher
sound.
Kilburn,
Hey, how are you
Giuseppe De
today?
Natale,
Are you ready
and
to
Stefano
create with
Carlino
CapCut?
put forward
Press
an
next
argument
and
that
enter
has
an audio
shaped a
prompt
great
and see
deal
how
of
I
the
sound.
subsequent discussion.
Hey, how are you
Their
today?
case
Are you ready to
was
create
that
with
the crust
CapCut?
above the caldera
Press next and
has
enter
been
an audio
progressively
prompt and see
weakened
how
by
I
the
sound.
repeated stretching
Hey,
of the
how are you today?
1970s,
Are you ready to create with
1980s, and the
CapCut?
current episode.
Press next and enter an
That
audio
it is
prompt
shifting
and see
from
how I
elastic
sound.
behavior,
Hey, how
where
are you
rock
today? Are you
deforms
ready
and
to create
springs
with
back,
CapCut?
toward
Press
inelastic
next and enter
behavior,
an audio
where
prompt
rock
and see how I
fractures
sound.
and stays
Hey,
fractured.
how are you today?
Practical
Are you ready to
implications
create with
uncomfortable.
CapCut?
If
Press
the crust
next
is
and enter an
weakening,
audio prompt
then a
and see
smaller
how I
push is
sound.
required to break
Hey,
it
how
than
are
was
you today?
required
Are
before,
you ready to create with
which means
CapCut?
the system could
Press
reach the
next
point
and
of
enter an
rupture at a
audio
lower
prompt
level
and see
of
how I
pressure
sound.
than the
Hey, how are
1980s
you
crisis
today?
reached
Are you ready
without
to create
erupting.
with CapCut?
That is
Press
not a
next
prediction
and
of
enter an
an
audio
eruption.
prompt and see
The
how I
authors were
sound.
explicit that
Hey,
it is
how are you
not.
today? Are
It
you
is an
ready to
argument
create
that
with
the
CapCut?
safety margin is thinner
Press
than
next
it
and
was,
enter an audio
and
prompt
should
and
be
see how
read
I
exactly
sound.
that carefully.
Hey, how are you today?
So set
Are
the
you ready to
eruption
create with
aside for a
CapCut?
moment.
Press
and look
next and
at
enter
the
an
thing
audio
that
prompt
actually
and see
keeps
how I
Italian
sound.
civil protection
Hey, how are
planners
you today?
awake,
Are you ready to create
which
with
is not
CapCut?
geology at all.
Press next
It is
and enter
arithmetic.
an audio prompt and see
The
how I
reason the
sound.
red zone has
Hey,
to be
how are you
cleared in
today?
advance
Are you ready
rather
to
than
create with
defended in
CapCut?
place
Press
comes
next
down to
and
one
enter an audio
specific
prompt and
hazard,
see how I sound.
and it is worth
Hey,
understanding
how are you
properly
today?
because
Are you ready to
it
create
is
with
the thing
CapCut?
that makes
Press
volcanoes
next and enter an
categorically
audio
different
prompt and
from
see
most
how I
natural
sound.
disasters.
Hey, how are you today?
Pyroclastic
Are you
density
ready to
current is
create with
not lava.
CapCut?
Lava is
Press next
slow,
and
it
enter
is
an audio
visible,
prompt and see
and
how I
outside
sound.
of unusual
Hey,
circumstances,
how are you today?
people walk
Are you
away
ready
from
to
it.
create with CapCut?
Pyroclastic
Press
density
next and
current
enter
is
an
a
audio prompt
ground-hugging
and see how I
avalanche of
sound.
hot gas,
Hey, how are you
ash,
today?
rock
Are you ready
fragments,
to create with CapCut?
suspended in its own
Press
turbulence,
next and enter an
which
audio
pours out of a
prompt and
vent
see how
or
I sound.
collapses out of an
Hey,
eruption
how are you
column
today? Are you
and
ready to
runs
create with
downhill and
CapCut?
outward at speeds
Press
that can
next and
exceed
enter an audio
100
prompt and see how I
kilometers an hour.
sound.
Internal
Hey,
temperatures
how are you
run
today?
into the
Are you ready
hundreds
to
of
create with
degrees.
CapCut?
It does not follow
Press
values
next and enter
reliably.
an audio
It can
prompt
climb
and see
over
how I
topography.
sound.
And
Hey,
it arrives
how are you
faster
today?
than a
Are you
person
ready
can
to
react
create
to
with
seeing
CapCut?
it. There is
Press
no
next
sheltering
and
from
enter
one
an
in an
audio prompt
ordinary
and see how I
building.
sound.
This is what
Hey,
killed the
how are you
people at
today? Are you
Herculaneum
ready to
and
create with
Pompeii
CapCut?
in
Press
79
next
after
and enter
Christ
an
on the
audio
other side
prompt
of
and see
Naples.
how I sound.
And the reason
Hey,
those
how are you
remains are
today?
so intact
Are you ready to create
is
with
that
CapCut?
death there was
Press
effectively
next and enter an audio
instantaneous.
prompt and see how I
Modern
sound.
construction does not
Hey,
change this
how are you
outcome in
today?
any
Are you
meaningful
ready to
way,
create with CapCut?
which means the red zone
Press
boundary
next
is
and
not
enter
a
an
line
audio
drawn
prompt and
around
see
where
how I
damage
sound.
is expected.
Hey, how are you
It is a
today?
line
Are you
drawn
ready to
around where
create with
survival
CapCut?
is not expected.
Press next
And
and
that
enter
is
an audio
why the
prompt and
plan
see how I
requires
sound.
the area to
Hey,
be empty
how are you
before
today?
anything
Are you ready to
begins,
create with
rather than
CapCut?
shelter in place.
Press next
after
and
it
enter an
starts.
audio prompt and see how I sound.
Everything about the
Hey,
72-hour
how are you today?
window
Are you
between
ready to create
regions
with
and the
CapCut?
phase departure
Press
follows
next
from
and
that
enter an
single
audio prompt and
unforgiving
see how I
fact.
sound.
The red
Hey,
zone
how
itself
are you
holds
today?
on the
Are
order
you
of
ready to
500,000
create with
people.
CapCut?
The yellow
Press
zone,
next and enter an
exposed
audio
to
prompt
heavy
and see how I
ashfall
sound.
rather than to
Hey,
flows,
how are you today?
extends
Are you
further
ready to
and
create
covers a
with CapCut?
substantially larger
Press
population
next and
again,
enter an audio prompt
reaching
and
well
see
into
how
the
I
built-up
sound.
areas of
Hey,
Naples.
how are you today? Are you
Ashfall
ready to create
sounds
with
like the
CapCut?
mild version of this.
Press next and
in
enter an
terms of
audio
immediate
prompt and see
lethality
how I
it is.
sound.
But
Hey,
it is the
how are you
hazard
today?
that
Are
produces
you ready
the
to
wider
create with
disruption,
CapCut?
and it kills
Press
primarily
next and
through
enter
one
an audio
mechanism:
prompt and see how I
roofs.
sound. Hey,
Volcanic
how are you
ash is
today?
not
Are you ready to
soot.
create
It
with
is
CapCut?
finely pulverized rock.
Press next and enter
And
an
it is
audio
heavy,
prompt
with
and
dry
see how I
ash
sound.
running well over
Hey,
a ton
how are you
per
today?
cubic
Are
meter
you
when
ready
it
to create
settles.
with CapCut?
Let it rain while
Press
ash is
next and
falling,
enter an
as it
audio
very
prompt
often
and see
does,
how I
because
sound.
eruption columns
Hey,
generate
how are you
their own
today?
precipitation.
Are you ready to create with
And the
CapCut?
accumulated load can
Press
roughly
next and
double.
enter an audio
Flat
prompt and see
and
how I
shallow
sound.
pitched roofs are the
Hey,
ones that
how are you
fail.
today?
The
Are you ready to
Mediterranean
create
urban
with
architecture
CapCut?
is full of them.
Press next and enter an
Structural
audio
collapse
prompt
under
and see
ash
how I
loading
sound.
is historically
Hey,
the
how
leading
are you
cause
today?
of death
Are you
in
ready
the
to
ash
create
zone
with
of
CapCut?
explosive eruptions.
Press next and
The
enter
head
threat of the respiratory effects that people tend to assume are the main threat.
Are you ready to create
Beyond
with
that,
CapCut?
ash ground
Press
aircraft
next and enter an
across a
audio
wide
prompt
region
and see how I
shorts
sound.
out electrical
Hey,
distribution
how are you
equipment
today?
when it gets
Are you
damp,
ready to create with
clogs
CapCut?
water intakes and
Press
filters,
next and enter an
blocks
audio
drains
prompt
and
and see how
turns
I
roads
sound.
unusable for
Hey,
wheel traffic.
how are you today?
Which
Are you
is
ready to
worth
create
noting
with
for an
CapCut?
obvious reason.
Press
The
next and
Yellowstone
enter an
sits
audio
between the
prompt
red
and see how
zone
I
and
sound.
everywhere the red
Hey,
zone
how
would
are
be
you today?
evacuating
Are you
to.
ready to create with
The national
CapCut?
plan allocates
Press
the red
next
zone
and enter an audio
municipalities to
prompt and
twin
see how I
regions
sound.
elsewhere in Italy
Hey,
that would
how are
receive
you
and
today?
house
Are you
them.
ready to create
And
with
it works on the
CapCut?
basis of a
Press
phased
next and enter an
evacuation
audio
carried
prompt
out
and
over
see
a
how I
window
sound.
of roughly
Hey,
72
how are
hours
you
from the
today?
decision
Are you
point.
ready to create with CapCut?
Consider the geography that
Press
plan
next
has
and
to
enter an
operate
audio
in.
prompt and see how I sound.
Much of the caldera is
Hey,
coastal,
how are you
with the
today?
sea on
Are you
one
ready to
side.
create with CapCut?
So evacuation
Press
traffic
next and
cannot
enter an
disperse
audio
in all
prompt and see
directions.
how I sound.
The road
Hey,
network
how
is
are
the
you
ordinary
today?
road
Are you
network
ready to
of a
create
dense
with
Italian
CapCut?
metropolitan
Press
area,
next and enter an
built up
audio
over
prompt and
centuries
see how I
and already
sound.
congested on
Hey,
a normal
how are you
Tuesday.
today? Are you ready to
The
create
whole
with CapCut?
operation would be attempted
Press next and
during
enter
a
an
period
audio
of
prompt
ongoing
and see how I
earthquakes,
sound.
when road
Hey,
surfaces,
how are you today?
bridges,
Are
and
you ready to
tunnels
create with
may
CapCut?
themselves be
Press
compromised.
next and enter an
And when
audio
the
prompt and
population
see
is
how I
frightened
sound.
rather than orderly.
Hey, how are you today?
The
Are you ready to create
1982
with
to
CapCut?
84 operation
Press
moved
next and
around
enter an audio
40,000
prompt and
people,
see how
and
I
it
sound.
took months,
Hey,
and it was
how
not
are you
smooth.
today? Are you ready to
Then
create with
there's the
CapCut?
decision itself,
Press
which
next
is the
and enter
hardest
an audio
part of the
prompt and
entire
see how I
problem
sound.
and gets discussed
Hey,
at the least.
how are you today? Are you ready to
Volcanic
create with
unrest
CapCut?
does not
Press
reliably
next
end
and
in
enter an
eruption.
audio prompt
Across
and
the
see how I
global
sound.
record,
Hey,
most
how are you
episodes of
today?
significant
Are you ready to
caldera
create with
unrest
CapCut?
resolve without
Press
any
next and
eruption
enter
at
an
all.
audio prompt and
In
see how I
Campi
sound.
Flegrei's own
Hey,
1980s
how are you today?
crisis
Are you
is a
ready to
textbook
create with
case.
CapCut?
So the officials monitoring the system are in a genuinely brutal position.
Hey, how are you today?
Escalating to a red alert
with
means ordering 500,000
Press
people
next
out of their
and
enter an
homes,
audio prompt
shutting
and see
down
how
a
I
substantial
sound.
chunk of
Hey,
a regional
how are you
economy,
today? Are you ready to
imposing
create
an
with
extraordinary
CapCut?
cost.
Press next
Do
and
that
enter an audio
and see no
prompt and see
eruption.
how I sound. And the credibility
Hey,
of
how
the
are you
entire
today?
warning
Are you
system
ready
is
to create
damaged.
with CapCut?
The next time,
Press next
fewer
and
people
enter
will
an audio
move,
prompt and see
and
how
there
I
is no
sound.
version of the science
Hey,
that
how
will
are you
ever
today?
hand them
Are you ready
certainty
to create
before
with
they have to
CapCut?
choose.
Press
That
next
is the
and
real
enter an
audio
here.
prompt and see
Not
how
a
I sound.
supervolcano.
Hey,
how are you today?
A small,
Are you ready to
ordinary
create with
Monte
CapCut?
Nova-sized eruption
Press next and
underneath
enter an
an
audio
audio prompt and see how I sound.
quickly. Hey,
Preceded
how are
by
you
a
today?
warning
Are
that
you ready to
nobody can
create
be
with
certain
CapCut?
enough about to act
Press
on
next
time.
and enter an audio prompt
Now,
and
let me
see
be
how I
honest
sound.
about the limits
Hey,
of what I have
how are
told
you today?
because
Are you
this
ready to
topic
create with
attracts
CapCut?
more exaggeration
Press
than
next
almost
and
any
enter an
other
audio
in
prompt
Earth
and see how I
science.
sound.
I have
Hey,
described
how are
the
you today?
situation as
Are you
it
ready to
stands
create
on the
with
record
CapCut?
through recent years.
Press next and enter an audio
Conditions at an
prompt and see how
actively
I sound.
unresting caldera
Hey,
change,
how are you today?
and uplift
Are you ready
rates,
to create with
seismic
CapCut?
activity, and alert
Press
levels
next and enter
are
an
all
audio
live
prompt
numbers
and see
that
how
get
I
stated
sound.
regularly
Hey,
by
how
the
are you today?
Istituto
Are you ready to
Nazionale
create
di
with CapCut?
Geofisica e
Press
Vulcanologia,
next and enter an audio
which
prompt
publishes
and see
weekly
how I
and
sound.
monthly bulletins on
Hey,
this volcano.
how are you today? Are you
If
ready
you
to
want
create
the
with
current state,
CapCut?
that is where it
Press
comes
next
from.
and enter an
I would
audio
encourage
prompt
you
and
to
see
go
how I
and
sound.
read one
Hey,
rather than
how are
rely
you
on
today?
any
Are
video,
you ready to create with
including this
CapCut?
one.
Press
I want to be
next and
equally
enter
clear
an audio
that
prompt
nothing
and see how I
described here
sound.
means an eruption
Hey,
is
how are
imminent.
you today?
Likely
Are you
in
ready
any
to
given
create
year
with
or
CapCut?
predictable.
Press
2
next
decades
and
of
enter an
unrest
audio
so
prompt
far
and see how I
produced 2
sound.
decades of
Hey,
unrest.
how are you today?
That is
Are you
genuinely
ready to
what
create
the
with
evidence
CapCut?
shows.
Press
Treating
next
it
and
as
enter
a
an audio
countdown
prompt and see how I
misrepresents it.
sound.
There
Hey,
is a
how
great
are you
deal on
today?
the
Are you
reassuring
ready to
side
create
of the
with
ledger.
CapCut?
Campi
Press
Flegrei
next and enter an
is one of
audio
the most
prompt and see how I
intensively
sound.
monitored volcanoes
Hey,
on Earth.
how are you today?
There's
Are
a
you ready
dense
to create with
permanent network of
CapCut?
seismometers,
Press next and enter an
GPS
audio
stations,
prompt and see
tilt
how I
meters,
sound.
gas
Hey,
sensors,
how are you today?
and satellite
Are you
radar
ready to
coverage
create with
over an
CapCut?
area a few kilometers
Press
across,
next and enter an
run
audio
by an
prompt and
institute
see
with
how
a
I
very
sound.
long
Hey,
institutional
how are
memory
you
of this
today? Are
specific
you ready to
system.
create with CapCut?
The
Press next and enter an audio prompt and see how I sound.
is the
Hey,
oldest
how are
volcano
you today?
observatory
Are you
in
ready
the
to
world,
create with CapCut?
founded in 1841.
Press next and enter
This
an
is not a
audio prompt
volcano
and see
anyone
how
is
I
going to be
sound.
surprised by.
Hey,
in
how
the
are
way
you
that
today?
communities
Are you
have
ready
been
to create with
surprised by
CapCut?
volcanoes in less
Press next and
instrumented
enter an
parts of the
audio
world.
prompt and see
And
how
the
I
historical
sound.
precedent is
Hey,
genuinely
how are you
encouraging
today?
on the
Are
question
you ready
of
to create
warning.
with CapCut?
The
Press next
1538
and enter
eruption
an audio
being
prompt and
years
see
of
how I
escalating
sound.
deformation.
Hey, how are you
Then,
today?
in its
Are you
final
ready to
phase,
create with
gave
CapCut?
days of intense,
Press next and enter an
unmistakable
audio
acute
prompt and
signals.
see how I sound.
Violent shaking,
Hey,
ground
how are you
opening,
today?
water
Are you ready to
disappearing
create
from
with
wells.
CapCut?
A
Press
repeat of
next
that
and
pattern
enter an
would be
audio prompt
recognized
and see how I
immediately by the
sound.
current network.
Hey, how are
And
you
there would be
today?
an interval,
Are you ready to create
probably
with
a short
CapCut?
one, but a real one.
Press
in which
next
to
and
act.
enter an audio
The
prompt
plan
and see how I
exists.
sound.
The twin
Hey,
regions
how are
are
you
assigned.
today? Are you ready to
Drills
create with
happen.
CapCut? Press
Local
next and
awareness
enter an
supposedly
audio
is
prompt
high
and
in
see
a
how
way
I
it simply
sound.
is not
Hey,
in
how
most
are you today?
communities living
Are you
on
ready to
volcanoes.
create with CapCut?
Because these people
Press next
have
and
been
enter
through
an
it
audio
twice
prompt
with
and see
living
how I
memory.
sound.
The ground under
Hey, how are
Pozzuoli
you
has been
today?
going up
Are you
and
ready to
down
create
since
with
before
CapCut?
anyone was there to
Press
write it
next
down.
and enter an audio prompt
Those
and see
marine
how I
borings
sound.
in the marble
Hey,
are a record
how are
of
you
it doing
today?
exactly
Are you ready to
this
create
and
with
then stopping.
CapCut? Press
It has
next
lifted
and
a
enter an
city,
audio
dropped
prompt
it
and see
into
how
the
I
sea,
sound.
lifted
Hey,
it back
how
out,
are you today?
built a
Are
mountain
you
in
ready
a
to
week.
create with
And
CapCut?
it did all of it while
Press
people
next
went on
and enter
living
an audio
there,
prompt and
which
see
they
how I
have done
sound.
continuously
Hey,
for well
how
over
are you today?
2,000
Are you
years
ready
and
to
are
create
still
with
doing
CapCut?
today.
Press
The honest
next and
summary
enter
is
an audio
this.
prompt and
There's
see
a
how I
volcano
sound.
bigger than Campi
Hey,
Flegrei,
how are you today?
and its
Are you
name
ready
is
to create
Yellowstone,
with
and
CapCut?
it is asleep.
Press next
There's
and
a
enter an
volcano
audio
more
prompt and
famous
see
than
how I
Campi
sound.
Flegrei.
Hey,
It
how are you
is
today?
Vesuvius,
Are you ready to
20
create with
kilometers
CapCut?
east, quiet
Press
since
next and enter an
1944.
audio prompt and see
Then
how I
there's
sound.
the one in between
Hey,
them.
how are you
The
today?
one with no
Are you ready
mountain
to
and
create
no
with
reputation,
CapCut?
and half
Press
a million
next and enter
people
an
on the
audio
lid,
prompt and see
which
how
is
I
the
sound.
only one of the three
Hey,
that is
how are
actually
you today?
moving.
Are you ready
If
to
you want
create
to
with
follow what
CapCut?
happens next,
Press
the
next
place to
and
watch
enter
is
an audio
not the
prompt and
headlines.
see how I sound.
It is the deformation
Hey, how
rate
are you
in
today?
gas
Are you
chemistry
ready to create with
published
CapCut?
every month in
Press
Italian
next and enter
by
an
the
audio
people with
prompt
the
and see how I
instruments.
sound.
If this was
Hey,
useful to
how are
you,
you today?
subscribe.
Are you ready to create
Because
with
this
CapCut?
channel covers the
Press
physical
next and
systems
enter an
underneath
audio
the
prompt and
news
see how I
rather than the
sound.
news itself.
Hey, how are you
And there's
today?
far
Are you
more of
ready
this
to
to
create
come.
with CapCut?
And if you want to
Press
support
next
the
and
work
enter an audio
directly and
prompt
get the
and see
deeper
how I
research
sound.
breakdowns behind
Hey, how are
episodes
you
like
today?
this one,
Are you ready to create with CapCut?
Right below this
Press
video.
next and enter an
Thank you for
audio
watching.
prompt and see how